Hi everyone, it's Promise Odera Onu. You can see I'm smiling already because I'm happy with what I just watched on Channels Television with Seun or Kimberly, the town hall on tax reform bills. I'm my first time of listening to Taiwo Oyedele. I really saw the brilliance in him. I didn't even know he was a lecturer or a professor. But that town hall shows or proves the point that Nigerians are smart people. And this is the very first time you could see, intelligent people, educated people, conversing and discussing on nation building, on things that can move us forward. Because for a very long time, all we see is I don't even know how to explain what happens in the National Assembly, to be honest. But sometimes you can question the literacy level or the academic progress of all these people who debate and make laws for us. And that's why it seems like after 60 years, we still don't know what we are doing. But you can only take one man, just one man. Talk about America, you talk about Abraham Lincoln, you talk about the UK, you talk about, all I can give is blood, sweat, and tears. You talk about Singapore, you talk about one man. And for Nigeria, Taiwo Oyedele can be that man. It could be the brain of one man that can change. So to put it in context, for people to understand what I'm trying to say, these tax reform bills could as well be the major systematic change that will define the structure of governance in Nigeria going forward. And that would be a very, very huge achievement and attribute to Tinubu. In fact, as I sat down listening to these guys, I said to myself, if I'm asked to vote in 2027, if this bill comes to fruition, it might be easy for somebody to start switching to voting for Tinubu, because you will find out that with what Buhari achieved with single federated accounts, if we have one streamlined tax bill or agency that sort of collects all the taxes in one place, and that money goes straight into the federated account, then everything, there will be a little bit of transparency. There will be transparency, and then from the federated account, things will be disbursed to the states and the local government, which of course Tinubu have achieved. So we are getting somewhere, right? Now, people pushing for it to be removed or receded or whatever. No, this bill must come, to be passed into law, because that is what we need. In fact, I had a bit of, moment of shame for Nigeria when Mr. Taiwo Oyedele was saying that countries, big economies in Africa, South Africa, Egypt, Rwanda, even Kenya, all have similar, and Ghana, for that matter, have similar, agencies to what the UK and America has, where a particular ministry will collect all the revenues. But in Nigeria, you have over 60 different ministries that have been taxed to collect money. And that is because when they want to create a ministry, they look for funding, they will say, okay, just tax people more money and get money. That is not how to run government. I'm sorry. And that's why we have so many stupid ministries in Nigeria that are supposed to be merged. So let's have a streamlined tax collecting agency that collects everything. Because that's what happens in the UK. If I'm getting my salary, I am taxed at source before the money hits my account. The only way I will know what I paid to tax is through my pay slip. We call it Her Majesty or His Majesty now, Revenue and Custom. Revenue and Custom. So now, if I choose not to buy anything in that month, if I choose not to, let's say I'm abroad for 1 month, I traveled, that means that will be the only tax I pay in that month. Whether it is 20% or 30% or 40% tax, that encompasses all the little money that will go to the council, that will go to the police, that will go to, there is a different tax called council tax, which is federal tax and state tax. But the one I'm speaking about is HMRC, which goes to the police, goes to the military, goes to the courts and all of that, right? And NHS. Then you have the council tax that then goes to I think also it goes to the police, and I don't know how this tax works. But then you know that you are paying council tax and you are paying HMRC, which is like your federal tax. And I think the same applies in both Canada and America. You pay federal tax, you pay state tax. But if you choose not to buy anything, you won't pay any VAT. The only time you pay VAT is when you buy other things. If you buy your toothbrush, or you buy your paste, or you buy food, that's when you pay, and as much as you need. So if you do not go on buying alcohol, you don't have to pay value-added tax on alcohol. If you do not buy cigarettes, you don't pay anything on those. So that is how the system works here. But every tax is being taken by an agency, and that is what is being mirrored, or what should be mirrored in this new tax bill. So for those people that are questioning it, all the questions or few of the questions, we are clarified and answered. And like I said before, the people that will lose revenue, or the state that will lose revenue, is the richest states we have in Nigeria, which is Lagos and Rivers State. I could add Oyo to that according to the data that was presented, but let's stick with Lagos and Rivers State. Now, Lagos, because it is the second capital of Nigeria and the commercial capital of Nigeria, every state is there. It is a seaport state, and also a cosmopolitan state. Everybody is in Lagos. Every family has someone in Lagos. So then you talk about River State. That's where all the oil money, all the rich companies are, right? Now, another thing that is very, very important to understand is that even though Lagos and Rivers will be losing a lot of money, they will still remain, even after this tax is implemented, they will still remain the highest earners from the new tax reform. They will still get from 80% to 15% for Lagos, and Rivers State will also be the second higher earner of tax revenues. And that is because of the numbers, and because of the population, and because of other forms of tax, apart from the derivation bill or tax. Now, we need to understand something. This is coming from a Yoruba president in a state he once governed. He is now agreeing to I wouldn't say shortchange, but to be fair to other states. And like Mr. Taiwo Oyedele did a sort of scenario painting with the intelligent Seun that, foresee that question will come from Mr. Paul, and then painted a picture with MTN. Now, he said that MTN paid about 200 billion in terms of, tax. That's a lot of money. And that all goes to Lagos. Now, that 200 billion will be shared amongst all the states in Nigeria, because everybody that uses MTN are all over the states in Nigeria. So one state should not be taking it in the first place. That has been unfair to other places. And that's why Lagos can, rake in about trillion and have about 3 rail lines where other states don't even dream of having any railway. And if we need progression, we don't need one state to be so rich and other states so poor. Now, the biggest advantage for Lagos in doing this as well, because they must have sold this to Governor Sanwo-Olu, and knowing Taiwo being an intelligent guy, there must be a way he must have convinced Mr. Sanwo-Olu on this. And this is what I'm thinking he must have said. Lagos needs to be, decongested. Lagos needs to be declustered. One of the biggest problems Lagos has is that everybody wants to be in Lagos. So by enacting this bill, companies will know that they don't need to be headquartered in Lagos. They can be headquartered in Anambra. They can be headquartered in Nasarawa. They can be headquartered in Oyo. You can be headquartered anywhere and file your tax and explain what was used anywhere, right? So, and this will encourage state governors to help businesses, to create enabling, environments for businesses to all pop up in their states. Do you understand? And encourage their people to find alternative means of income, of IGR. Because you see that all these state governors, all they do is that when they come into office and they say they want to rake in IGR, or they tell you that they've increased the IGR from 10 billion to 30 billion. Essentially, what they are telling you is that they have more agboro on the street to go and collect money from poor people. They don't have a streamlined way or a technology, apart from a few governors. There are a few governors that are trying to use technology. I know Anambra State, Soludo is doing that. I know Peter Mba is doing that. They are using technology to get their tax and reducing agboro on the street. But normally, most governors will just release their tax force and they will just go and be beating people, collecting money, taxing the poor packet women. But this particular tax reform will exempt about, in fact, anybody earning about 800,000 naira. And a further 200,000 towards rent, and also allow businesses that are coming in to get most of their capital investment back. My brother, this is a fantastic idea. This is bringing Nigeria to par. So when this is finished, everybody will love this Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, because he will now be the poster boy of development and massive economic reform in Nigeria, so that we don't really have to look at countries like UK. They don't have oil. Well, they have oil in Scotland, but mainly that's not their revenue. All they do is task. When they task, they now bring, like, one of their biggest exports is education, and then railway, which is transport. So you don't really need to borrow money. You can also borrow others. Nigeria have the numbers, for Christ's sake. We have the numbers. We can borrow people money. Then in other news, moving on, we saw that Tinubu went to France. We don't know what he has with France. Seems to love France so much. When other African countries are run away from France, he's going to embrace them. To go and, sign, I believe they signed an agreement on our mineral resource. You see, the northern part of Nigeria should look at the viability and potentials in Nigeria. If there is any part of Nigeria that can export to the whole world, apart from what the south is already giving, which is oil, it is the northern part of Nigeria. Talk about gold, talk about minerals, talk about food. And you know what the world needs now? The world needs food. The world needs food so bad that GMO came into Nigeria, and it's not good. It's not good that GMO is being pushed into Nigeria, because Nigeria have arable lands, Nigeria have the best weather, Nigeria have everything it takes, the manpower to produce food on a large scale, so that those containers that are leaving empty from the wharf should be filled with this thing. And again, if we have strong policy on mineral resources, just like what Mr. Taiwo Oyedele is doing, we need another reform on our mineral resources, how to mine them, very sound intellectual and intelligent engagement on our minerals, how to harness our gold, how to get the best out of them, including being part of the production and being part of the sales of the products. Very, very important. That is what you call nation building. Get the most intelligent people. Look at Mr. Taiwo Oyedele saying that he's been involved for over 10 years in PwC. That is what you need. We have these people. They say the Yorubas are the most educated. How are we reaping from that? We're supposed to be reaping from these people that have studied and studied. Professors who are working in so many places. Get all these great people, great minds. Learn and reap from them. Listen to them. And the reason why so many people lost Mr. Taiwo Oyedele when this bill came out is that they are not operating on that level of intelligence. So you have to keep simplifying, showing picture, explaining. I felt sorry for the man, because in fact, Seun called him, the burden of explanation is on him. Because people don't understand. I studied project management, and the first thing they will tell you is that people reject change. Change is one thing people don't like. People like routine. They like statu quo. They like doing what they are used to. So when you are bringing change, they will fight you. But eventually, when you tell them, okay, this is good, and I must give a lot of respect to Honorable Dogara. The way he explained his introductory statement is very, very sound. That's an intellectual mind. And other speakers that spoke there, all of them were brilliant. And that's what I want. That is what we are supposed to be doing as a country. So that tomorrow, if they say Nigerians are smart, yes, you'll be smart. Otherwise, you'll be like what Odumeje said. You cannot be smart and all of us are in this quagmire, a mess. So what is the point of your brilliance? Simply because we don't listen to the most intelligent among us. So well done to Seun, well done to Channel Television, and well done to Tinubu administration and Mr. Taiwo most especially. Let's get it going. And very soon, we will start having a country that all of us can be proud of. God bless you.